Welcome to TripTease. I'm Leah Vincent, and I'm coming to you from Maui. I know there's been a lot of questions on if Maui is reopened after the fires in August of 23. So it's been about 6 months, and I'm coming to tell you, yes, it is open. And I want to talk about a lot of different things about Maui, things you can do, and things that you can do to support the tourism here and support the local people. So it's kind of like a twofold. The tourism is definitely needed. I've talked to the Hawaiian Tourism Board, and the people of Maui need the tourism. Later on in the podcast, we're going to talk to my cousin who actually lives here on island, and he's going to give us a little insight on what it's like. And then he also has a really cool business venture I think everyone's going to be really interested to hear about. Just to start off, the fires, it kind of started as a wildfire, I guess. It spread like crazy. We were all watching it, from the mainland in tears about Lahaina. Lahaina is a port town in Maui. It is actually a very small little port town. So I think a lot of people will be like, oh no, Lahaina burned. So basically the whole island is gone. And that is definitely not the case at all. But a lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people lost their homes. It spread like crazy. A lot of businesses, it was really popular to go down in Lahaina on Front Street. And there was fun little restaurants like Cheeseburger in Paradise was one of my favorites. And lots of really great little local shops, really good shave ice. That's my favorite shave ice place is gone. But they're going to rebuild. It's going to take a while. But what can you do to support Maui and support the locals and tourism? In talking to the Hawaiian Tourism Board, one thing that we really want to talk about is not doing Airbnb. And you want to do Airbnb so you can save money, or you want to do Airbnb so you could be all together. But Airbnb in places like Maui, and I will say in places all over the world, especially where tourism is so popular, it really affects the locals. And that is because all the investors will come in and buy the vacation homes and just any home, honestly, and they're able to jack the prices up because people are willing to spend more money because they're going to be renting them out over and over and over again. Thus, this is not creating necessarily more jobs, like as if you were staying in a hotel or in managed condos, because you're staying in a home. So that is a big push right now, is to not do the Airbnbs or the VRBOs and stay in hotels. The hotels bring so many more jobs to the locals, and it also doesn't create that having Airbnbs in people's neighborhoods, which creates the values to go up, which creates these people that are working in hotels to not even be able to afford to buy a house or even rent a house necessarily where they're from. And they don't want to move. I mean, you wouldn't want to move from where your family lives or where you grew up or where your heritage is. So that is, I think, a big thing to think about when you're coming to islands, is to make sure and think, what is the best way for me to travel there? And what is the best way, for the local culture? And the local culture in Hawaii is stay in a hotel. I am staying at the Kanapali Ali'i, and it's right on Kanapali Beach. It's an amazing beach. And if the sun wasn't really bright, I would show, for those that are able to see the video of this, it sits in like a perfect location. It's right next to the Westin. The Westin is also a really popular, great hotel. But there's a sidewalk all down Kanapali Beach. And you can walk from the Hyatt, is the first start, closest to Lahaina, and then all the way down to the Sheraton. There's different condos and hotels all on this beach. This is my kids' absolute favorite beach. It has waves, but not too crazy, so I'm not, too scared of them. But we always stop and get boogie boards, and then you can snorkel, like really good snorkeling down at the Sheraton. And so you can just walk in, zero entry, and be able to snorkel here on Kanapali Beach. So one cool thing about being here in the winter is that it's whale season. So we are able to see the humpback whales breach here just from the balcony. You can see them from the beach. When you're driving, there's a great coastal drive. Like if you're going to go over to Kihei or Wailea from the Kanapali area, then you're just driving right along the beach. And the whales, yesterday they were we probably saw 5 at a time, like over the course of the horizon, just jumping out of the water. It was pretty incredible. So the humpback whales come down from Alaska, and they want to have their babies in Hawaii, or they also do Cabo or Puerto Vallarta. I've done some really neat whale watching tours in both Cabo and Puerto Vallarta too. But for some reason, they are really attracted to Maui. We've seen so many whales when we've been driving up and down the coastline. You can see whales just all across the horizon jumping out of the water. And that's just here during the winter. So they make their trek back to Alaska starting in April, and they're habitual creatures. So they will keep coming back over and over and have their babies. And that's just a really neat thing to see. If you want to see whales in Alaska, the best, time is to go in the middle of the summer. And Juneau is my favorite to see whales in Alaska. Okay, my guest today is going to be my cousin, Shua. He lives here on Maui, and he's lived here pretty much his whole life. It's been fun to visit him as we've all grown up together here on the island. And he lives up in the Maui upcountry. He has a really neat business that I want him to tell you about. Also, ideas of things that we can do here in Maui that don't actually involve the beach, which I think a lot of people don't even realize. There's so many unique activities that you can do here in Maui. So welcome, Shua.
All right. Thanks for having me.
So what the podcast is about is we're talking a lot about how tourism has changed since the fires and really just since the COVID boom. So living here on Maui, have you noticed a big change in that tourism decline?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I would say last year was definitely a slower year in general. I feel like post-COVID, a lot of people loved coming to Hawaii, to travel within the US and come to Hawaii and still feel like you're almost in a foreign country or, going somewhere, really special. And so for a couple of years, we had, an incredible boom, and for us, in our business, we do luxury outdoor dining, cooking over fire. So getting to dine outdoors and really, experience Hawaii in a really special way was, for us, positioned us really well. I know not everyone was as fortunate. But then with the fires last year, I felt, and last year in general, I feel like a lot of people were traveling to Europe and other destinations. So Maui actually was already kind of seeing a little bit of a slower year in general. And then the fires hit. And that was so tragic for so many reasons. Obviously, the loss of life was the biggest one, and people that are displaced from their homes. But the whole island as a community was really grieving and hurting. And we definitely saw a massive exodus of reservations and tourism really as a whole. So for us, we're people that either were directly impacted by the fires or peripherally, we all felt it.
I've noticed a lot of chatter on the media, or not really the media, more like the people that, become the media, like on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, and discouraging travel. But then when I'm here, I feel like tourism seems like everyone wants us to be here. Like, how do you think that the people that live on the island feel?
Just like it's going to be portrayed in social media and media, it is mixed. You have people that are saying, Maui's closed. Jason Momoa said that right out of the gate. And there's people that really feel like, hey, this is the opportunity for those to really maybe shift some of the focus of, industry here. But that's a long process. And realistically, tourism is not going away, and it supplies, a vast majority of our industries here and income. But now, what people here need and locals need is to really embrace, the opportunity to have people come and respect, this place and come and boost our economy and come and give back in authentic ways. So the rest of the island, relies on tourism. So we are absolutely saying, please come and visit, the areas of Hawaii that are open. Maui's definitely not closed. Lahaina absolutely is, but the rest of the island is hurting economically. Like, so many families, entrepreneurs are affected. Like my daughter's school, all the families are affected by the fire, whether directly, not most of them, not directly, but indirectly by our economy just crushing. And then you have inflation going up and all these families are struggling. And so in reality, it's like, please come, please spend your dollars here. And then please be considerate to those that are hurting on this island, and like tip extra, be generous, maybe do a beach cleanup, do something that's like a way to give back to this island. Yeah. So Lahaina is closed, and the historic town of Lahaina used to be the capital of Hawaii. It was a whaling village. That town is completely gone and permanently closed for the foreseeable future.
I have driven by it, and I've noticed that they have barriers up and security there, and you have to have a special pass in order to even get into that area. Not that there would be any reason to go into any of those areas, but even if you were, a photographer or something like that, you can't go into the areas. But it is very much blocked off. But I will say that I've been impressed. There is so much more to do. And a lot of people have put it just in such a box. And I feel like the Big Island had that same experience when the volcanoes erupted. People were like, oh, well, you can't go to the islands of Hawaii now. And then you would see a map and that like it's a tiny little dot, over the course of the whole map where people are really considering it the entire state when it's a small section. And there's a lot of other aspects that you can enjoy on the islands. But I would like to talk about your business, Kiawe Outdoors. Am I saying it right?
Kiave. So
See, there we go.
there's certain words in Hawaiian that the W is pronounced like a V. Like actually the way to truly say Hawaii is Hawaii, but there's certain words that we just say it so commonly in English as Hawaii. But yeah, it's Kiave.
So tell the listeners exactly what you do. I've got to experience it before and it was incredible, but tell about your history and your wine certification. I don't want to pronounce that word either. I need to really work on my pronunciation.
Sommelier, yeah.
Why?
So I always say I grew up wild here in Maui, hunting, fishing, surfing big waves, jumping off waterfalls until I was about 20 years old, moved to California, studied as a sommelier, helped put on events like Pebble Beach Food and Wine. I'm actually flying out for that next week. They shut it down for COVID and they're just bringing it back this year for the first time. And through events like that, I've gotten to meet the best chefs, sommeliers, and winemakers in the world. Such an incredible network, amazing professionals, amazing people that, like everyone else in the world, loves to come out to Hawaii. When I moved back home after training as a sommelier in California, and, we start cooking over fire for fun up on the mountain and the sun's setting, we're at 3,500 feet. The kids are running around laughing, the music's playing, and we realize we have just brought heaven down to earth. And, this has created absolute magic. All our friends that came to those first events were like, you need to share this with the world. And, before we knew it, we had partnerships with Four Seasons and, a private jet company and getting featured in, all kinds of magazines, made the cover of Hemispheres magazine, which was incredible for our business. And this is like 2021, right out of COVID, got this luxury outdoor dining concept. Like I said earlier, we're just so well positioned to find our niche and specialize in what we do. And like I said, all these amazing winemakers are like, hey, we want to come out to Hawaii and do a dinner with you up on the mountain. And so just getting to show people such a unique and different side of Maui, where I feel like a lot of people come and they stay in, Kapalua, Kaanapali, Wailea. They're down at the beaches, and rightfully so. When you think of Hawaii, you think of beautiful white sand beaches and Mai Tais and, luau's and things like that. But we like to show people a different side of Hawaii, a different beauty. Come up the mountain. Let's go harvest some things from the farms. Let's put together these beautiful tablescapes and, using our vintage glassware and candelabras. And as a sommelier, we're opening up the most incredible wines in the world for you and cooking everything over fire ancestrally, really slowing down and creating this, unique experiences. The food, the wine, the settings, they're all a hook. But at the end of the night, the way we make people feel is really what they're left with, unforgettable experiences. So we encourage people to come up the mountain for a night and, see a different side of Hawaii for sure.
So you do private events, but do you also do ones where people can just like buy a ticket or tell us how people can experience it?
We mostly do private events, which is just become like our niche, helping people celebrate special occasions and weddings, even things like that. But yeah, we do communal dinners, ticketed events. I wouldn't say often, but maybe quarterly, something like that. Okay. So you just have to kind of follow us and stay tuned and, snag a seat when you can.
So tell us about what you're planning to do. Hopefully in the near future, you're going to have maybe a permanent home.
Yeah. So we have, this incredible opportunity to really kind of like the dream for us. We've been such a movable feast, and we actually even travel with our business often. Last year, I think we did 15 trips to the States for events, which was so fun, but that's a lot of travel, especially, we have a family, we have 3 kids, and we bring them with us when we can. The dream's always been to kind of have our own home base, like a venue that, where we can just have our own gardens and orchards and, an R&D kitchen, research and development is what that stands for, if you don't know, where you're testing out new recipes, just really diving into a sense of place. So there's a spot on the North Shore of Maui that we are going to move our home base to and really create these unique experiences for people, getting to do these farm tours and take them through the orchards and the gardens and down to where we have our salt drying mats and gather salt for our dinners and take that home as a keepsake, things like that. And then have these really transcendental experiences on these cliffs overlooking the ocean. So really, it's going to be really special, and it's going to be something that is hopefully everyone gets to enjoy, but it's going to be a really exclusive and unique experience, and we can't wait to put it together.
I thought it was really neat when you were saying that people were going to be able to even arrive by helicopter, because I saw you were able to do that when you were doing the packages with the Four Seasons too.
Yeah, it's fun in the right places when, you're being aware of the neighbors and the communities around you in the right locations. Arriving by helicopter, it doesn't get any better than that. So, imagine getting to fly around and, fly into these waterfalls and just take in the beauty, places that no one's ever been. No one's ever set foot. I think that's so special. Only accessible by, viewing from a helicopter into these, caverns and valleys, and then, up to these mountains and around to Molokai. And then you come in and you land in, on this huge ranch, on these cliffs, and you're just transported into another realm. It's like they always use the metaphor, the door, in the wardrobe in Narnia. You open that door and it's a whole new world. And that's really what, we try to create with our experiences, where we have these beautiful tables set in these amazing locations, but, you arrive by helicopter and you're just whisked away into just, a fairy tale, really. So fun.
It sounds like The Bachelor, but honestly, that's like next level. Like you're like, oh, The Bachelor does stuff like this, but we're going to take it to a whole nother level.
You get to live The Bachelor without having to do all the crazy romantic stuff.
Yeah. So have you noticed, has business picked up, or do you have availability for people to book private events for the rest of 24 and into 25?
Yeah, both. We're starting to pick up, which we're so grateful for. And yeah, we're filling the calendar for the rest of 24, and we have inquiries for 25 coming already. And we have one for 2027 already on the books.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so the big push for 24 with the Hawaiian Tourism Board is to talk about things you can do in the upcountry. And so I really wanted to highlight that. So yesterday, I journeyed up there with my kids, and we did the surfing goat dairy, which I thought was really cool. But obviously, goats don't surf.
No, they just named it that. And they have a lot of old surfboards on the property. It's really cool.
And the kids were able to milk the goats. They were squealing about that. And then we also were able to buy a flight of different goat cheeses and try all the different goat cheeses. And it was pretty neat. That is a quick stop, but there's a lot of things actually in the area. So right around the corner, we did the Maui Ocean Vodka, which they make rum, vodka, and gin there, and a bourbon. There was 5 different things that they did. I felt like I was in. Yeah, it's such a good spot. And they said at 5:00 every day they do live music, and you can order cocktails with their local liquors that they make. And we did a whole tasting. It was kind of like going to a wine tasting, but then it was really strong liquor. I was like, I don't know about this, but it actually was. I really enjoyed it.
Upcountry is awesome. So upcountry Maui, and other parts of other islands, has more of a paniolo feel, which is the Hawaiian word for cowboy. So there's actually a lot of rich tradition in having Hawaiian cowboys or paniolos. Over in Waimea on the Big Island, like Parker Ranch, and then upcountry Maui here in Makua, where we live, we do a big rodeo every year for July 4th. And it's just a different side of Hawaii, like I was talking about earlier. And it's so beautiful, and cooler temperatures and amazing views. You have the Ali'i Kula Lavender Farm, which is a great place to go and visit as well. And even Maui wine, a little bit further down towards Ulapalakua. These are people making wine in Maui at 2,500 feet with, people always ask me hey, how's the wine? Because I'm a sommelier. They're like, sure, how's the wine compare and stack up to other wines? And I'm like, when you're sitting there in that vineyard, drinking Maui wine, looking at 4 islands as your view, it's the best wine in the world. So each their own. But those guys are awesome. We just did an event with those guys a couple weeks ago, and it's just so breathtakingly beautiful. So a different side of Hawaii that you get to see up here in upcountry Maui.
Yeah, there's a lot more to do than just the beach. I'm going to try the Lavender Farm on Saturday, and I noticed they're doing a big fundraiser for the Maui Food Bank, and it was free admission if you bring non-perishable items to donate to the food bank. So I thought that was really great. And they're just open Friday through Monday, so you have to kind of plan your visit but that is a great stop. We're going to do it on the way to the airport because the kids aren't getting all dirty at the beach. So it's a good option. You have to think about those things, as most of the flights are going to be a red eye back to the mainland, of what kind of things can you do on the way to the airport.
Oh, it's so smart. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come up country and go to Makawao town and, get a nice latte, walk around. There's lots of beautiful shops. Yeah. Come up country. It's pretty special.
Okay, well, I have enjoyed speaking with you today and actually seeing you this week here in Maui. I love to come to Maui. I come at least once a year. This is actually my third time to Hawaii in the last 6 months. I'm a little bit Hawaii obsessed, but thank you for joining us. And please let us know how people can get in contact with you if they want to plan one of your really special events.
Yeah. I mean, the website's the best, kiaweoutdoor.com. And that the V sound is a W. So it's KIAWE. Outdoor. But yeah, on there, you can kind of get a feel for who we are. We have all these amazing photos from events. And you can fill out a form, let us know about, what kind of a private event and special event we can plan together and chat about your vision. But, we'd love to, create some magic for those coming to Hawaii and want to, experience something that is so authentic and so different than anything else. That's kind of where we find our little niche.
Well, thank you so much. I love it. And I completely stand by and recommend. Well, thanks for listening to our episode of TripTease. I'm Leah Vincent. And of course, you can always reach out to me, Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram at Vincent Vacations on all three.